What's up everybody, welcome back to another shoe rotation video. So many shoes arrived in the last couple of days, I had to make this video. Without further ado, let's get straight into it and start with a pair I practiced with for the first time today, which is the Adidas AE2s, and I was really excited to try these out. Massive shout out to the people at Kicks and Adidas for sending over a pair. Most of these pairs were sent to me, but the brands do not actually have any weight in what I say about them. They don't try to interfere. They just want my opinion on them, which I'm trying to give here. This is pretty much initial thoughts on the AE1s. They feel on the 2s, my bad. They actually feel better than the 1s in my opinion. Way lighter, way softer on foot, not as stiff. One minor downside is that the cushioning isn't as soft anymore. They feel more like they have the cushioning setup of the lows, and torsional support might be a little bit of an issue. We still have the Adidas X plate, but I'm just not entirely sold on how it will perform. My full review on them will be coming in the next couple of days. The traction setup feels very good, and overall I also really like the design of this shoe, especially this colorway is really an eye-catcher in my personal opinion. Next up is a shoe I already posted my review on, that's why it's going to be rather short here in this video, the SHAI 01. Also massive shout out to Kicks for getting me a pair. These are really cool, I love the design, they're very heavy, almost heavier than the AE1s, which is quite a feat. And the performance is also good in certain areas, but one thing they struggle with is torsional support. They could benefit from more support for me, but I think for a lot of people it's going to be just fine. Traction performance is good, cushioning is very low to the ground with a little bit of impact protection or bounce from this air zoom unit. Kind of similar to the Sabrina 2 cushioning setup, but that's already it for the similarities. The rest of the shoe is very different. If you want to know more about them, check out my review of them. Then I have a shoe I haven't even unboxed yet because I'm going to still record that. The All-City 13 Encore. Shout out to Wade for sending these over. These are really cool as well in my opinion. They feel amazing so far in hand. I slipped on the other pair already on my left foot and they felt very good. Synthetic leather upper, also with some mesh elements on the upper. The cushioning setup is not super boom, my bad, that's the 805 Ultra, is full length boom, but we have a polymer core system, so we have something similar to the Wave Weight 11. So I'm really excited to try these out on court, and they feel so light now compared to the SHAI 01 that I had in hand before that. The next shoe I got from Kicks is the Puma Halley 1. These unfortunately are a size too big for me, but they still will do for a performance test. I also had them on court for the first time today, and they feel very nice. The cushioning setup feels extremely comfortable, so I'm very curious to see how these will actually perform. Traction performance also looks really good. I like that they have a massive shank plate, also kind of like an X-plate system from Adidas, so something in that direction. So they feel very good so far. I'm positively surprised. These might actually be Puma's best shoe. And speaking of Puma shoes, another shoe I was testing out is the All Pro Nitro 2. These also feel amazing, but have one major downside, which is that they are crazy narrow. Just look at how pointy the toe box is. So it's very hard for me to actually wear them, even though I would like to way more, because they look really cool in my opinion. Design is amazing. I really like how they look on foot. I really like the aesthetic. I'm saying really a lot there, so you must know that I do actually like them and enjoy them. And the cushioning setup is also very comfortable, but as I said, just the narrow fit is kind of a no-go for me because they just hurt my feet, so I haven't worn them in an actual practice yet, which is usually like the test for a shoe. Are they really good? Yes, then I take them to actual practice where I'm not able to switch out of the shoes if there's anything bothering me. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that just because they are so narrow, but I do really like the performance and also plan on uploading a full review of these, just like I do of uploading a full review of the Anta Kai 2. I was also finally able to get a pair. Also, yet again from Kicks, big shout out to them. They are very good. Also kind of a little bit narrow, especially those kind of flywire cables here. I actually cut through one of them because it was pressing into my foot so much that I just couldn't bear with that, and I wanted to hoop with them and test them properly. These are actually a pair that are in close consideration of actually getting worn to a real practice, so that tells you everything you need to know about them already. They're very solid all around. Minimal impact protection and cushioning, so way less than in Kai 1 unfortunately, but those might even have had a bit too much comfort in there. These are way lower to the ground, just a little bit more minimal. Remind me a lot more of the Nike Kyries we used to have back in the day. Kind of a little bit of the Nike Kyrie 5 low, or the low 5, my bad. So just without that bounce of the zoom unit in the forefoot, but overall a really solid performer, good traction performance. The materials, textile mesh-like upper, very nice and soft, breaks in quickly. and overall also like the design of the shoe. I really wish I could get the Mother's Day colorway, but unfortunately those are really expensive, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to do that. Another shoe that might actually be a shoe of the year contender is the Curry Series 7. Those are absolutely amazing, and in my opinion the best shoe Curry brand has released so far, so the best Curry shoe overall, because they combine what makes other Curry shoes great, which is insanely good traction. So these really stop so hard you might actually trip, with good cushioning. So finally we have a Curry shoe that has decent cushioning, because they actually paired the flow setup, which you can see here in a decoupled outsole, with a full-length foam setup. They didn't specify what kind of foam they're using, and it's by no means something like Zoom X or something like that, but it does have a good amount of impact protection, and you actually feel that you will have enough cushioning underneath your foot while playing. That was always an issue for me with the Curry shoes. Yet they're still incredibly light. The materials are insanely soft. I was actually concerned about lateral stability and support, but because the shoe is so wide, just look at this massive outrigger down here, and because of that decoupled outsole and the shank plate they're using, which is very stiff, we actually have a very supportive shoe, a good cushioned shoe with excellent traction performance. So in my opinion, this could really be a contender for shoe of the year. I'll have to see about durability, but these are also definitely going to be worn in a real practice, which, as I said, is kind of the test for the shoes to see if they're actually any good. Another shoe that's been in rotation is the Wave Weight 10. It is very clean colorway. I forgot the exact colorway name, but if you're interested, you can find it on my other socials. I did a couple of videos on these. So very clean shoe, and of course you know all about the performance of the Wave Weight 10 there. Here behind me in the background for a reason, because they're all around amazing basketball shoes and amazing performers. The best thing about them, of course, is the full-length carbon fiber plate, which you can see here for the outsole. Incredibly bouncy, full-length boom cushioning. Actually a very durable outsole as well, and very thin upper end materials. So these really are an all-around amazing performer, and I love that Wave Weight is still releasing colorways so that we can actually get good performing basketball shoes like we had in the past. Another shoe that I haven't tried yet, but has also been in there, is the Nike Sabrina 3. I only recorded an unboxing, so I had them on at home. They're half a size too small, unfortunately, because they're not available in my true size yet. I really like the colorway, I like the design, and for a feeling, in my opinion, this is actually kind of a Sabrina 1 copycat, so they feel very similar. They're way different than what the Sabrina 2 was. These were extremely wide and soft. These are more narrow and stiff, so if you like the ones, you'll love these. If you like the 2s because they were so wide and comfortable, you might not enjoy these as much. Traction performance seems to be really good as well. I like the design with that eye here on the outsole. That looks really cool in my opinion. Overall, these do remind me a lot of like a Kobe A and 911 kind of AD in there as well. So a little weird that they kind of copycatted that on the performance of the Sabrina 1, but I'm pretty sure that they're going to do very well on court. Yeah, that's pretty much everything I can say on the threes, because I haven't worn them yet on court. Then one more pair I almost forgot now, because so many new pairs have come in, is the Puma MB5. And as I said, don't worry about that. There's going to be separate performance reviews on pretty much every shoe in this video if I haven't done one yet. These actually feel way better than the 4s. I was positively surprised. The design is crazy, a lot going on there. In my opinion, very appealing to a younger audience, not as much people of my generation or even older. They might find that way too much. I'm all for pink shoes, but even I'm on the edge where I'm like, this is probably a little bit too much. They added a strap here that doesn't really do anything because we don't have it connected to the actual midsole of the shoe. So it's more just for looks, so just to tighten the upper a little bit. But overall, the shoe actually, as I said, feels better than the 4 and also than the 3. I'm not sure if it's better than the 1 or the 2 yet. I like those. Cushioning feels almost the same, so the midsole and outsole didn't change that much, only that the outsole actually sticks to the court quite well. I also had them on very shortly today at a shoot-around session, and they felt alright. The cushioning, as I said, pretty much the same or feels the same. The upper is what changed, what makes them better. It's way thinner, way softer, so that I do like. I'm not sure about support features, but they were usually pretty good in that category. The lacing system also seems to work quite well, which is always nice. So I'm actually excited to wear these more often, and maybe they'll also make it to a practice, but I'm not entirely sold on that. Also because I play with better guards, which are, they'll actually also release a new product if you're interested in that. Those are my ankle braces, and this is the Better Guard Lite. So far we always had a connecting piece here. You can see it in almost all of my videos where I'm actually playing. And that it's not a restrictive brace. It only activates in case you actually need it, like a seat belt, which is really, really cool and just allows for normal range of motion in your ankles. And this little thing right here is where the magic happens. If you pull it slowly, it allows for a normal range of motion. But if you pull it fast, it will stop you and secure your ankle. So awesome product. And that's just one issue with high tops. If you wear these in a high top, now that's the wrong side, but imagine, or let's see, with a low top, it will make more sense. If you wear these inside a low top, the mini piston is sticking out and it's very stiff and it can press into your foot. So now if you're wearing these with a high top and the material, you lace them up really tightly and it presses together like this. This little thing right here will press into your ankle or dig into your ankle like crazy. So that's one issue where I'm also not sure if I can actually wear them. Excuse me. And now for the last 2 shoes actually. This one has only been in rotation very, very shortly, more for content purposes because I tested them out already. The D-Low one, but a beautiful colorway. And of course, last but definitely not least, the best basketball shoe in my opinion, the Nike Book 1. I've been rocking this camo colorway a lot, the desert camo colorway. Absolutely love them. If you're interested in performance, I have a lot of reviews on these bad boys already. Let me know which review you want to see first. I'm thinking of doing the SHAIs are already out, and then I'm thinking of going with the AE2s, the Halley ones, Sabrina 3, Series 7, kind of in that order. So just let me know what you want to see first, if there's one shoe you're particularly interested in, or if you have any other questions, just comment down below or send me a DM on Instagram. I try to answer all of them over there. I would really appreciate it if you could leave a like on this video, of course, only if you enjoyed it. If you didn't, maybe some feedback options in the comments. And also just leave a comment for the algorithm if you have the time to do so. I would really appreciate that. Of course, if you haven't subscribed, I'd love if you could subscribe to my channel. It would be much, much appreciated. That being said, have a good one and see you next time.